Alright, now we're going to take our valve body apart just to get all, mostly, the only reason I'm doing it is to get all the sludge out of it because this fluid was so dirty. As you can see, even though I've cleaned it pretty good, still nasty stuff is coming out of it. Dripping out of that like that. I'll back my camera up a little bit. I was wanting to get a close-up view, but whenever I move something around, you can't see nothing outside the screen, but like I said, you can see that crap coming out of there. I'm gonna, okay, most of the bolts that hold it, the two halves together on this side, it does have two right here. I pretty much soaked it in gas and lacquer thinner and stuff like that. And as you can see, what's still coming out of it. That's why I got to take it apart to make sure it's clean. I've got a ratchet around here somewhere. I'm going to use that to trap all my bolts so that they hopefully don't roll off the table. Now I'm doing this inside this pan because there's probably going to be some check balls that will roll out of here. And we can always look at in one of my old service manuals and find an exploded view and figure out where it came from. But if I don't do it inside this pan, there's a possibility a check ball or something could roll out. In fact, I think there's one right in there. See a spring holding it in? Right there. But if I do it inside this pan, any check balls that fall out that I don't see will at least stay in this pan. Nothing fell out. That's good. And as you can see, that sludge in there, that's what we wanted to get rid of. And we will clean one half at a time. Now I've got a metal plate. Boy, that really stinks too. I don't smell it until I took it out. But we got a metal plate. We're going to leave that on for now. We'll go ahead and clean it up. We'll remove these bolts, take that plate off. Make sure there's no check balls inside of there. I don't see any check balls. I do see some check balls. There's one right there. Here is a little spring. There went a check ball, and that came from there. I'm very glad that I'm making this video of this. Okay, that came from there, and we just pulled this one from somewhere where there's a lot of sludge in here. Yeah, we want to get this cleaned. There's a one there. Right there, make a mental note of it. And I don't see any, well, I see one in there. Go ahead and get that out of there. And looks like nothing else came out. That's a good thing. And after I get this piece, or this half, cleaned up, I'm going to put all these down here inside of this bushing. So that they can't go nowhere. Roll off the table and stuff. Put that on top of that spring. Put this little spring in a cup. And I'm also going to take this plate off. That sound we heard there, that's the part that actually goes from park to reverse to neutral and drive and second and low. But I think we got everything out, so I can clean this thing in some cleaner over here. I got that other half just soaking in clean fluid or lacquer thinner. cleaned it and blew it out and squirted lacquer thinner up in it and got as much as I could out that way. Then I filled up a clean pan, fresh, clean lacquer thinner, and just letting it soak. Got it deep enough where it can completely submerge it. Taking this plate off here, and I don't know if you can see that, but I got another bushing right here to keep all the bolts for this. Notice I'm keeping everything separated, and plus filming all this really helps. Okay. And if I have any doubts, I'll go back together, which I know I'm going to have to look at it to remember where those check balls and plungers went on that other half. I don't know if there's any check balls in this one or not. There's my gasket. There was one thing I really wanted to replace was the gasket. And luckily it's all in one piece, so I can make sure the one I have is the correct one. I'm not sure if there even is a different gasket for different years of C6, but we want to be sure. I don't know if any shift kit or anything was put in this transmission. Probably was. I don't see any check balls here. This half would be a lot easier to clean. There's nothing in there. And that's a good thing. So I'm going to clean both of these while that other half soaks. Okay, so I got this one cleaned out pretty good. Pretty sure after soaking all that sludge came out. And I was thinking that maybe I would not take all this off. But I am going to take this one off because what I planned on doing was going down in here. If you can see, there's all kinds of little pistons. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a spring behind this one or not. I can look back at that diagram and find out. I'm taking this one out and looking at it because this is loose. So that makes me want to look at all of them. This one doesn't want to move. Some of them do not have any springs in them. As you can see, they're still get filth. So I think I will take this apart. Should be, I think should come out of there. Doesn't seem to want to move though. I can move it that away. Yeah, it's kind of stuck. I need to look at my diagram and see what's going on with that. Look, there's a bunch of metal in there. So yeah, I'm taking all these out one at a time and cleaning them. Okay, so it's a week later. I had to do something a little different than I originally planned. I originally planned to take this apart and clean it out, just like I said before I cut the camera off. But I had a little trouble when I decided to start taking all these valves off because I did find some dirt up inside underneath this plate here. Now this is your pressure regulator valve, the sleeve and the valve. The valve goes inside the sleeve, of course. It goes in there just like that. But as you can see how chewed up it is, I had a lot of trouble getting it out. It was stuck in there, probably because of all the dirt and stuff that I found in there. That's what I wanted to clean out. But I destroyed it beyond use. But as luck would have it, if you buy this shift kit right here, you get a brand new one. And it shows it. Here, these are the kit instructions, which I'm also glad I got because it tells me where everything goes. Converter, check valve, and that throttle pressure check ball with the spring. But it just shows the parts. If I can get it right here, and this accumulator valve plug. There's your booster valve sleeve and your booster valve. The sleeve is what I tore up, so I decided to go ahead and buy the shift kit. And I've already done most of it, so I didn't catch it on film. But I took all these out and cleaned them. They was all full of dirt and sludge. Luckily, none of them stuck like this one did. But basically, I'm going to go over what I did in the kit. These kits are easy. it shows everything disassembled, how it goes in. This shows stock. It shows what not to remove, which means it's going to go back in. And it shows, it labels each and every piston or valve and spring. And here are your instructions right here. You got two different stages, heavy duty and street, which is what I'm going to do, and competition. And the only difference between competition and heavy duty and street, I think, is you don't get your automatic shifting and drive. And really the only difference in what you do in the kit is on this cutback valve, which is up here, right there. You just leave it stock for heavy duty and street, and it says to remove it and install a 1/4 inch ball. So I think you take just, it doesn't show the spring, but a spring goes in it, which is right here. So I put that back together stock, and it shows, let's see, on the servo, I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Shows in step 9. Sorry about that, trying to do this one-handed. In step 9, it tells you to replace the pressure regulator valve and the spring. You just put all their parts, the sleeve and the valve, which looks just like the stock one. But they tell you to throw away the stock spring, which looks like this, and put a violet spring in. And that is for 67 to 75 years, and this is a 73 valve body. Now on another diagram, yeah, it shows the later valve body, which looks like this one I took apart for a reference. And they say everything's the same except it has the spring retainer, which mine does not have. And they say to put the orange spring in there. So that's for your 75 and later. And back to all the other valves. Right here on an intermediate servo modulator valve, just that right there. Remove the exposed spring and replace it with a special plug. Okay, so there's a little brass plug. I took the spring out, put that valve back in after I cleaned it, put a little brass plug in there. It's right here. And on step B, you got an accumulator valve, which is right there. Street and competition, remove the exposed springs, maybe 1 or 2. I think I had just 1. Replace with this large special plug supplied. There's a big aluminum plug. You remove that spring, put the aluminum plug in, and it goes in here. You can't really see the plug because I got the plate on it. I'm not going to take it back off. Step C, following valves remain stock. Second to third back out valve, second to third shift valve, and what's it say, line, I think it's line pressure coasting regulator valve, which that's all these says do not remove. Got cutback valves, do not remove, so all of them stay stock, and that's pretty much it. And of course this stays stock. And that's all there is to that. You just follow the directions and look at the diagrams, which are handy. And what I got left to do, this particular one, we got to drill a hole right here in our steel plate. And that hole would be right. Let's see, diagram is very hard to see. And that hole is right here. Looks like they give you an 1/8 inch drill in the kit, which I have. It looks like someone drilled this out, didn't deburr it, but it's not as big as the 1/8 inch. It's almost. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And I think they say to not use the gasket. So I got to take this back off. I'm gonna read those instructions further, and I'll let you know, of course, as I'm putting them together. But I'm pretty sure I read that we do not use the gasket. We just drill that hole in that plate. I'm going to deburr it with a stone. And there's your gasket, which we will not use. Put this over here out of the way. Angel's laying on the cold floor when she has a doggy bed underneath the truck. She also has a house. So we'll drill that hole, and this also tells me where all of my springs and check balls go before I put it together. That hole right there has got a burr on it too, where check ball is pushed up against it. So we'll deburr the whole thing. But you really want to make sure you deburr especially the back side of where you drilled out. It's got a fine stone here, it leaves not very deep scratches at all. I'm going to go ahead, make sure the valve body is deburred before I go back together with the two halves. If you got any little burrs, high spots, you can cause a leak. Left all them plates loose, and I will torque them together, torque them down, all these bolts down, after I get it all together, because you don't want this above this surface. And matter of fact, the kit recommends that you don't tighten them down until you get the two halves of the valve body back together. Just blow this off with an air gun. That was a very clean stone, by the way. So I'll do that. While I'm at it, deburr this. Okay, we're getting close to being ready to put the two halves back together. It says in instructions or directions, like I said before, I double checked it. No gasket between this plate and that. So that is going to go right here. And they also mentioned, now my transmission did not have it. They also mentioned if there's any screens like this one and this other valve body, they say to discard them, get rid of them. But before you put it together, you got to make sure you got all your check balls in. Now this is called the converter check valve assembly right there. Now there are two different springs. The heavier, if you get these two springs mixed up, because there's another spring here, that is the throttle pressure check ball. That is the lighter duty spring. You'll be able to tell if you compare them. That's just in case you get them mixed up. And you can see that one's a little heavier. But that is your converter check valve assembly, the valve and the spring. This is your throttle pressure check ball and spring. That goes there, and that is your second to third check ball. At least that's on this one. Now there is some models, mine doesn't have it, a third to second downshift valve retainer. Not on all models, and mine did not have it. So we're ready. We got all that in place. And the only thing you got to know about this kit, all that stays in for heavy duty and street. Installed second to third check ball into his pocket, which I did. For competition, do not put it in. But I'm doing heavy duty and street, so I'm leaving that in. So we're ready to go together. There. This goes right here, that long bolt goes right there. You just hand tighten them all. You don't torque them down yet. You gotta wait till you get it all together and all the bolts started before you go to tightening bolts. This plate goes right here, and you can see this hole lines up with that end of the slot. Then there's another end of the slot. This so fluid can transfer from there to there. This one goes towards the inside, the little stud with the pin on top. So that's the way it was originally. Now, should be able to see how did it go. It goes like that. Should go just like that. Be extra careful if that ball stays in place. I'm going to prop this underneath of that. Maybe it's wooden block would be better. So that stays flat. Use it. Can use this one. Double check everything stayed into place. Yep, it did. We'll put it both there. Two of them started. Hold it down, and for sure nothing fell out of place. I wouldn't be able to hold it down flat like that. I would feel it. Just put all our bolts into place, all of them except for what goes, what the filter goes, which I may have to put a couple in when I put it together, because you need some on this side for sure. But requires a longer bolt. Some are longer and some are shorter. You just got to kind of try them one at a time and figure it all out. So that goes to the actual transmission. There's another one there. And we got a couple in the middle. There we go. There, I think that's all of them from this side. The rest of them, that goes all the way through and bolts it to the transmission. So those two, and these two, and two over here. And you also have two bolts. Take that one right there. And you got a shorter one. There's there. all these little bolts are 45 inch-pounds. Not much. Feels like it's not tight enough, but wouldn't take much to strip them little things out. Double check that I've got everything. I haven't put all these in yet because I still need to put the filter on it. Let me go ahead and do that before. There's something shaking in there. I know what that is. It's that check ball. The second to third, or third to second, whatever they call it. And I think it's only 2 on this side. We're going to take a close look and make sure. See anymore. Always pays to take your time, look it over. Okay, 45 inch-pounds on all the side plates. And don't forget these that we left loose right here. Remember, that's inch-pounds, not foot-pounds.